to join. There you go.
Good afternoon, everybody. I had technical difficulties. I wasn't ignoring you. I was frozen on unmute, so they had to unmute me. So thank you. I was listening to all the conversation and I wasn't just silent. So sorry about that, you guys. Happy November. I'm happy to be here with you. We do have a decent sized agenda, so we're going to jump right in. Just really quickly, housekeeping for the members of the public that are here that would like to make a comment on our Zoom, you just raise your hand, or if you're on the phone, you'll dial *9. And then for the rest of us, we'll just stay on mute. If we would like to talk, and jump right off, and you guys know how this goes. But those are our continued housekeeping. That will take us right to our roll call. And Lisa, if you could do that for us, that'd be great.
Thank you. District 1?
District 1 here.
District 2? District 3? District 4? District 5?
I'm here.
Banning?
Here.
Beaumont?
Here.
Calamasa?
Here.
Canyon Lake?
Here.
Corona?
Here.
Eastville?
Here.
Hemet?
Here.
Parupa Valley?
Here.
Lake Elsinore?
Here.
Menifee?
Here.
Moreno Valley?
Here.
Marietta?
Here.
Norco?
Marco here.
Harris?
Here.
Riverside?
Here.
San Jacinto?
Here.
Temecula?
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Wildemar?
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
All right, thank you so much. Miss Patricia Lock-Dawson, would you lead us in the pledge? I see the flag. We'll put a flag up, but would you lead us, please, today as we salute our flag?
My pleasure. Everyone, please stand and point in the direction of wherever flag you have. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. And that's going to take us to public comments. Do we have any public comments today?
We have not received any written comments, and I do not currently see any hands raised for public comment.
All right, and I know there aren't any additions or revisions. Oh, wait, Lisa, there
Yes.
are. Oh,
We
you
do.
know what? You're right. You're right. I'm so sorry. Last second. See, this is what happens when you do it to me last second. Just today, we're going to move item 10 to directly after closed session. Is there any other revision that I need to address?
Yes. The attachment to item 7B in your original agenda packet contained a spreadsheet formula error that undercalculated the total amount of fees remitted. This morning, staff circulated a revised attachment that shows the correct amount of total fees remitted as $1,687,443. All other figures are unchanged. Finance staff is available to answer any questions from the board. Thank you, and we do apologize for that error.
From no revisions and additions to lots. Do you guys have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Then what we're going to do, just make note that we will be moving item number 10 to directly after closed session. And then at this point, I will call on Mr. Devon to take it from here. Oh, Steve, you're muted.
Thank you. Yes, we have one item on the closed session agenda, which is listed there. We will be going into closed session to discuss the possible acquisition of property listed on the closed session agenda.
Okay, I'll open the room right now.
It looks like we're all back.
Thank you so much. We will turn it over for legal counsel report.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. There is no reportable closed session report.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, just remember for noting, we are moving now off of the regular agenda item that would be next to item number 10, AB 361 determination. Is there anybody that would like to speak?
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
All right. And this is for us to discuss whether or not we are going to report via virtually or in person. So I will bring it to the board. There is not a presentation. Mr. Devon, do you have a presentation?
I do.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. As you're all aware, at the start of the pandemic, the governor issued executive orders suspending certain provisions of the Brown Act. Under those executive orders, boards were permitted to meet remotely, provided that certain procedural safeguards were followed. The legislature has now adopted AB 361 as an urgency bill, which became effective when the executive order expired on October 1st of this year. The new legislation permits agencies to continue to host remote meetings, but requires, among other things, that the board make certain findings to support the need for remote meetings. The resolution attached in your agenda packet implements AB 361 for the agency. If adopted, the board would be making the following two findings. One, that a proclaimed state of emergency exists, and two, that local or state officials have imposed or recommended measures to promote social distancing. We believe that both of those findings can currently be met, and staff recommends the adoption of the resolution. If approved, the findings will also cover any committees meeting during the proposed 30-day period. In months where the board meeting is canceled, the committee will be asked to make findings themselves. Finally, the findings expire after 30 days. So during subsequent meeting, the board will be asked to re-adopt the findings. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Devon. I see Mr. Ingram, you have your hand up. I will yield to you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Hope your day is going well. So, one of the side effects to COVID were the remote meetings. I actually think that they're productive and that they save the RCA a great deal of money and travel time and expenses, honestly. So I don't see why we wouldn't continue this unless we had a meeting that was a special meeting or something that was needed. I know that it saves about $40 per trip per board member, all depending on the distance that they're traveling from their city hall. So I would be curious to see how much money we've saved by not traveling and having that travel expense there per mile. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Corona and Temecula, and I don't know what order, so we'll just go with that. But you're on my screen. Good afternoon, Tony.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I understand that every 30 days we have to re-up this to determine whether or not we're going to hold live and in person or just continue with remote. Do I understand that correctly?
That is the way the legislature drafted it. So you are understanding it correctly. Every 30 days, the board will have to make the two findings that a proclaimed state of emergency exists and state or local officials have imposed recommended measures to promote social distancing.
It seems like the only way that that's possible is if we stay remote, it will always be remote because we have to make that finding or not within 30 days.
Well, no, I don't.
If that's correct, we'll meet once a month.
Well, no, I don't think that's, that would actually work out like that. First of all, the state of emergency proclaimed by the governor could expire, in which case we would have to meet in person, and we could not meet under AB 361. Second, if the leadership decided that it was important, decided that the findings could not be made, then we would schedule the item, I believe, as a, or not the item, but the meeting as an in-person meeting. So the resolution itself does not require the meetings be held remotely. It just allows the meetings to be held remotely.
So if the state removes the mandate, the next meeting would be scheduled in person. At that point, we would determine whether or not we're going to continue in person or remotely. Is that correct?
If the state removes the if the executive order proclaiming the state of emergency expires, then we would meet in person at the next meeting.
One of the
Okay.
one of the benefits to adopting this resolution, whether we stay virtual or we come back in person, it would give us flexibility. Even if we have to readdress it every 30 days, it would give us the flexibility to pivot whichever way we need to very quickly. So the resolution gives us that. So even if we stay virtual or we're coming back, this would be a consideration. So we have that ability to move to handle business. I think I spoke over Marianne's turn though. Marianne?
Yeah, you said exactly what I was just going to say. By approving this, we still have the option, but it actually gives us that flexibility. We can meet virtually or we can meet in person. So, and the city looked at similar things also when COVID was waning and we didn't know what the governor was going to do. So also, in addition to what Jonathan Ingram said, I like the 2 hours that it saves me driving. So yeah, I'm more productive anyway. So thanks.
Okay. And I saw, I see Ben and Ann, did your hand go down or up or back in the queue?
I just put my hand up.
Okay, Ben, you're up.
Thanks. I think the other thing to recognize too is it allows our citizens to join in remotely as well. And so it's not just for the board members, but also the citizens that if they wanted to join the meeting remotely, they can. I know we've had a lot of that at AQMD where we've had hundreds of citizens join remotely over and over again. So it's been good for people not to drive long distances for that too.
Yep. Okay. I don't see any other hands, but if you would like to speak, please.
Need to make a motion?
Or make them a consideration. Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we accept this AB 361.
No.
Second, Nicola.
So I have a first from Menifee and a second from Temecula to adopt the resolution AB 361. We will, if there's no further discussion, we'll go to roll call vote.
District 1,
Big one, yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Banning,
Yes.
Beaumont,
Yes.
Calamasa,
Yes.
Canyon Lake,
Aye.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastville,
Yes.
Hemet,
Yes.
Europa Valley,
Yes.
Lake Elsinore,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Moreno Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Paris,
Yes.
Riverside,
Aye.
San Jacinto,
Yes.
Temecula,
Aye.
Wildemar.
Aye.
Thank you. The item does pass.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We are going to go back to our agenda in order, which will take us to our consent calendar, which is item number 7. And today we have 5 items, 7A through 7E on the consent calendar. Are there any, is there anybody that would like to speak on the consent calendar? All right, then I will bring it to the board for questions, comments, or considerations.
Move to approve consent calendar. Marietta.
Valley second.
All right, I have a motion to approve from Marietta, a second by River Valley, and we will go to roll call vote for the consent calendar.
District 1, District 5,
Yes.
Banning,
Yes.
Beaumont,
Yes.
Calamasa,
Yes.
Canyon Lake,
Aye.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastville,
Yes.
Hemet,
Yes.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Lake Elsinore,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Marina Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Paris,
Yes.
Riverside,
Aye.
San Jacinto,
Yes.
Temecula,
Aye.
Wildemar.
Aye.
Thank you. The consent calendar passes.
Did you
District
want to
1 votes
circle
yes.
back? I
Oh,
was gonna
thank you.
say, circle back to District 1. I see him now.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, that's going to take us to our legislative update, item number 8 on our agenda. If I don't see any members of the public, if there's no request to speak, I will turn it over to Tyler to give us our update.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Chair and board members. Today I'll be providing you with an update on state and federal legislative actions. Governor Newsom had until October 10th to sign or veto bills passed by the legislature. By the close of the legislative session, 836 proposals were sent by state lawmakers to the governor. Of those bills, Governor Newsom signed 770 new California laws and vetoed 66 bills by that deadline. Now that the first year of the legislative session has concluded, the Legislative Affairs team is now reviewing the board-adopted legislative platform and taking into consideration emerging policies at the state and federal levels. Staff will bring forward the draft 2022 state and federal platform for the board's review and consideration in preparation for the next session of the legislature. Staff will continue to monitor the development of state agency guidelines that may impact the mission of HCPs or that could facilitate further discussion regarding the need for additional state investment as well. The California Natural Resources Agency, or CNRA, continues to draft their 30 by 30 document, and the California Air Resources Board continues to draft their 2022 AB 32 scoping plan update for national and working lands based on comments previously provided by the Legislative Affairs team and other stakeholders across the state. CNRA also recently released their draft Natural and Working Lands Climate Smart Strategy for public input through November 9th. The Legislative Affairs team is working with the California HCP Coalition to review this draft document and provide comments that promote HCPs as shelf-ready tools to implement the state's climate goals. Now, on the federal side, Congress continues to simultaneously negotiate and consider the Build Back Better budget reconciliation package, a corresponding debt limit increase, the Bipartisan Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act, and the fiscal year 2022 Appropriations Bill. The Senate Appropriations Committee recently released their draft appropriations bills for each of their subcommittees, including the Department of the Interior. And while the Senate's Interior Appropriations Bill matched the $13 million in grants funding to states that are in the House Appropriations Bill, the Senate bill proposes to fund HCP land acquisitions at $19.6 million, which is a $10 million decrease from the House bill. If the Senate's lower grant funding amount were to prevail, it would mean less funding available for HCPs, and it would increase the level of competition for those funds. Therefore, we will need to advocate for the House to maintain their higher level of funding when they go to conference with the Senate to settle on one single appropriations bill. Now, unfortunately, neither Senator Feinstein nor Senator Padilla's RCA community project funding requests to fund the Wolfskill acquisition project were included in the Senate's Interior Appropriations Bill. Senator Feinstein and Senator Padilla's willingness to submit CPF requests on behalf of RCA are greatly appreciated. But moving forward, the Legislative Affairs team will evaluate opportunities to improve chances of securing project funding for fiscal year 2023 appropriations in their bill. Lastly, we'll continue to monitor the progress of Representative Calvert's bill, HR 972, to establish the Western Riverside County Wildlife Refuge, as well as Senator Feinstein's draft language. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, Tyler, thank you so much. Do we have questions from the board? You did such a fantastic job. They're speechless. So congratulations, Tyler. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
This is a receive and file item, so we appreciate you That's going to take us to item number 9, which is our stakeholders committee membership outreach update. Is there anybody that is would like to speak? Any members of the public? I don't see anybody. No. All right. Well, just before we kick off, we do have a little bit of, we have a few things we'd like to share with you, but I just want to remind the board that before we had our management acquisition, one of the top priorities identified by the board was to expand our communication and our education, our reach, and then relaunch our stakeholders and make sure the program and make sure that our communities that we all serve in are adequately represented. So one of the ways we are doing this is to get this program up and running again. And I'm really excited to tell you all that it is underway. I shared with the executive committee that this process launched on September 27th, and a deadline for applications just ended at the end of October. So we created something that some of you may have seen. I hope all of you have seen this. I hope this isn't your first time. That it was a recruitment outreach video, so that it wasn't us just asking. We were really making sure we're visible about this and that people in our communities understood there was an opportunity to serve. So if Emily, it looks like Emily's getting ready to play this for you.
Do you belong to a group that represents property owners, environmental interests, or the building industry in Western Riverside County? The Western Riverside County Regional Conservation Authority is looking for volunteers from these groups to apply for our Stakeholders Committee. As a stakeholder, you can provide your views to achieve the conservation and economic goals of our multiple species habitat conservation plan.
Building community requires the voices of its people. This holds true especially as the RCA works to preserve our beautiful open space and our natural resources in Western Riverside County in order to shape our growing region. As the chair of the RCA, I invite members of the public who believe in this work to apply to serve on our RCA Stakeholders Committee. The preservation of our lands, the protection of our threatened species, and the future development and prosperity of the region is in our hands. Will you join us?
Through the MSHCP, the RCA is working to preserve 500,000 acres of habitat in Western Riverside County to protect 146 animal and plant species. This protected habitat helps our communities and species thrive. It also speeds up construction of needed infrastructure like transportation projects and housing while bolstering our economy. Interested? Visit wrc-rca.org/stakeholders for an application and details.
Thank you so much. I will say, I don't know for you, I hope it was my Wi-Fi, but it looked like I might have had a stroke and was a little bit off. So I'm hoping it was just my Wi-Fi, but I've seen the video. It was well done by staff and no one wants to see their face look like that frozen. But anyways, thank you so much. It was a great way for us to platform and really get the word out other than what we all know is what we're looking for. So we did get great applicants, and but there are a couple of things that I wanted to clarify just as points of how our stakeholders committee is formed. It is actually called out in our bylaws, and the eligibility and criteria for this position is actually called out in our bylaws as well. And this is just really to help us unify our diverse constituents and all the communities that we serve, and so that everyone has a voice. Ultimately, as board members, it is our responsibility to set this policy and direction and guide the RCA, but obviously we cannot do it alone, nor do we want to do it alone. So we're going to lean into this resource and tool of having the stakeholders and using them when needed. The other part to this is just some clarification. Stakeholders do not have authority to make decisions or guide staff or direct policy changes, definitely looking for their input, but that authority lies within our board and all of us. So there was some questions about the authoritative role of the stakeholders committee. So I am reviewing applications right now. Surprise to me that the chair is selecting the stakeholders committee. So staff has put together a really phenomenal package of all this resumes and applications, and I'm to have my decision by Friday. And so I haven't quite gotten through the entire group of folks, but we did get some great folks. So thank you all for that. I'm hoping that with the support of our stakeholders, we really can get to our goal of, successfully meeting our goals of the RCA, including implementation and completion of the plan. So are there any questions? This is just a receive and file and update to you all so you know what's been going on. I appreciate staff's hard work. Do you have any questions or comments? No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all.
I see board member Sobek has her hand up.
So sorry.
I just was wondering if you want to let us know, did you get a good amount of applications for interest?
Thank you. It's a good question. The bylaws call out up to 16 stakeholders, and I believe there were 14 in total that were submitted, applications that were submitted. So yes, we did get a good number of applications.
Great. Thank you.
All right, if there are no other comments or questions, we already went through item number 10, remember, so we're going to pass that and go to getting to know the MSHCP, and I believe Ms. Trish Campbell, you are on deck.
Good afternoon, Chair Johnson, board members, and the public. This month, we are presenting the last step of the joint project review process that can occur between the RCA and the permittee. Sometimes all of the parties involved in a project do not see eye to eye, and that's okay. Thankfully, the MSHCP has built-in process to resolve disagreements when they occur. Last time, we discussed the meet and confer process that can occur when the RCA does not agree with a permittee, for example, the city or the county, on whether a project is consistent with the MSHCP. Today, we discussed the last possible step in finding resolution between a permittee and the RCA. When the RCA staff and the permittee representatives fail to resolve any outstanding issues regarding a project's compliance during the meet and confer process, which we discussed last time. The last step is the Ad Hoc Committee, and that involves you. Next slide, please. The Ad Hoc Committee, you're one slide ahead of me. Thank you. The Ad Hoc Committee consists of members of the board appointed by the chair and elected officials from the permittee governing body. In other words, city council members, county board of supervisors, etc. The Ad Hoc Committee process is prescribed in section 6.6.2, subsection E4 in volume 1 of the MSHCP document, and charges the committee with reviewing the project and attempting to develop feasible solutions. As a reminder, the Ad Hoc Committee can only be established for projects that are within cells, which are the blue squares on your screen, where joint project review occurs between the RCA and a permittee. Next slide, please. So this slide provides the steps of how Ad Hoc Committee works. Step 1, the permittee, again, city, county, and the RCA do not find resolution on project MSHCP compliance during the meet and confer process. So the next step would be a request by either the permittee or the RCA is submitted to the chair of the RCA Board of Directors to establish an ad hoc committee composed of elected officials of the RCA and the permittee. Step 3, the ad hoc committee meets within 30 calendar days of the request to review the project, and the applicant is invited to attend. The ad hoc committee meets to resolve outstanding issues. The ad hoc committee meeting results in one of two outcomes. One, if resolution occurs, no further action is needed. Or 2, if no resolution occurs with the permittee intends to proceed with approval of the project, the RCA must notify the wildlife agency within 14 days. At the wildlife agency's sole discretion, they may revoke or suspend all or a portion of the permittee's MSHCP permits, as set forth in section 23.5 of the implementing agreement. Since inception of the MSHCP, the RCA has been involved in one ad hoc committee, and that was in 2007, where the project was found not consistent with the MSHCP. The wildlife agencies did not take action. Now, most disagreements are resolved before they are escalated to this level, and we as professional staff work really very hard to keep that the case. Next slide, please. Thank you, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Tricia. Before I turn it over for comments or questions, I'll say I think that that is a testament to staff having only one since the inception of the plan. We know that you all work really hard, but it's also important to know that this process is available and that we understand that it's a part of how we can do business. So are there questions? No.
I'm not seeing any hands.
Okay, all right. Tricia, thank you for your presentation. That's going to take us to our Board of Directors Executive Director report. Is there anything from our board that you would like to announce or state before I turn it over to Anne for her update? All right, Anne, the floor is yours.
Okay, great. Thank you very much and good afternoon. Just in the continuation of communication and expanding our outreach on Friday morning, early Friday morning, I will be in Temecula for the Murrieta Temecula group meeting. So this will be my first in-person presentation. In fact, I was last at Murrieta Temecula group in the middle of March in 2020. So it's my first meeting is back there on Friday morning. So I will be sharing information related to RCA, the RCTC merger with the management agency, and talk about the goals and objectives that you have all set for RCA. So I'll be there on Friday morning. I know the MSHCP is a key topic of interest down in that the southwest area of the county. So I look forward to chatting with that group on Friday. That completes my report.
All right, thank you so much. This is your last and final call, if there's anything to announce.
I want to announce something real quick. On Veterans Day in Norco, if you're around, we have Senator Melendez is going to be our guest speaker. We have a wall of honor. It's a half-acre memorial, and we'll be putting Kareem Nakui, one of the boys that was killed in Afghanistan, on that wall of honor. And we're not excited about it, but we're honored to be able to do it. And Senator Melendez is kind of crossing lines to help us out because she's created quite a relationship with the family. So all of you are invited, and we anticipate 2,000 to 3,000 people. We had 35,000 people show up when they brought him home down 6th Street. So if you're around on Veterans Day, I'm sure you all have your own events, but if not, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you. That will be a very fitting honor. Not happy news, but very fitting. So thank you for sharing that, Kevin. All right, just a couple of thank yous really quickly as we wrap and before we adjourn. I want to thank staff for putting together our communication, the video, doing that so quickly, also for helping us. I know today was a little bit challenging. I appreciate your decorum. We had some staffing and technical difficulties, but here we are, still on track. So I appreciate you and your hard work. I don't know that he'll love this, but I heard it in the beginning and I was muted. And I just want to congratulate Aaron. He ran the Boston Marathon, you guys, pretty big deal. And as he would say, oh, and I see a hand if you'd like to have comments, but just, I think that's such an accomplishment. And and he's here. He made it, you guys. He's alive and well, and he's here back to work. So congratulations, Aaron. I know that's incredible work. And then there is, I see a hand, Fruit Valley. Do you have your hand up?
I do. Thank you. Just wanted to let everyone know that our State of the City is happening November 16th. We'll be live streaming, but it will take place at our new Skyview Event Center. So just wanted to put that out there.
All right.
And it'll be between the hours of 5:30 and 8 p.m.
Well, since we're on that note, thank you for that. I know Wildmore has theirs this week, November 4th. I know Menifee and Temecula just had theirs. Congratulations. It is the season. It is the season of State of the City. So also in the season realm, we will not meet again until December 6th. And so I just want to say, happy Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for. And one of our roles and one of the ways we serve is RCA. So I'm thankful to have a really incredible board with an incredible staff. And as we wrap up this year, we have a lot of work still to do, but we're making great progress. So thankful for you all. If there's nothing else, then we will adjourn.
You're doing a great job, Natasha. Great job.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Happy
great
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.
Bye.